Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, another one. I know I would say a quick video, but it genuinely is. I recently, today, this afternoon, get it right Gav, I took delivery of a couple of books. Now I've always been really interested in ships. It can be warships, it can be, I'm not a big fan of the cruise liners and things like that. They don't really interest me, but merchant ships and all types of warships definitely, forgive the pun, float my boat. Although technically they are ships, not boats. They don't like to be, well, I know the Navy don't like to call them boats anyway. I like to model them. So far I'm still working on HMS Kent, which I have to put another video up soon. I will be building her one of the fire control radars. The last one I've got to do before I can actually finally start painting the superstructure and then putting it on the rest of the hull. So you should see some progress. I've still got a slight lingering throat, but a lot of us in the UK, and I would imagine around the world, have been hit by these colds that just won't go away, you know, these couple of week ones. And I've just not really felt like, you know, super glue and fine photo etch. No. Not when you're a bit under the weather. But I am going to attempt it tonight, and hopefully then we can get some progress on Kent. But what I'm trying to say is, around here, Gavin, all over the place. I've got HMS Kent in 1 in 350 scale. Now she's a Royal Navy Type 23 destroyer. They are phasing them out. Is it for the Type 32s that they're bringing in? It's just not the same. I like busy ships. Now, don't get me wrong, back when you go to the Leanders and the Rothseas and that, they were fairly not cluttered, especially for a nuclear environment, because believe it or not, in a nuclear attack they drop a bomb over a fleet of ships and that type of stuff. So they're all fairly decluttered. Now this time we've got obviously decluttered ships in the sense that they're all these stealth type stuff. Mainly just because of being stealth. They just don't interest me so much. I like busy ships, and the Type 23 is busy. So I've got that. I've also got 3 1 in 700 ships. 2 I've bought because I wanted them. I very rarely buy stuff for the stash, for just in case. I've bought these for 2 reasons. Well, first of all, we know about 1 minute. Oh, head problems, guys. USS Lexington even. For some reason I was going to say the Essex. The USS Lexington, I've got a bit of photo etch for her. She's... Turn the computer off, but not the phone. She's... whenever I'm ready to build, I just got a crisis of confidence yet again with her. Again, head problems, your head gets rattled over the stupidest stuff, and I want to put some plates on her. There's just because I'm going to put her in the water, you know, on a resin type base, or you know, on a foam block anyway. And I've got a book on her, not the 2 that I'm going to show you. I've just got, it's just more of a book on the Lexington, from her pre-war days to when she was scuttled. I've noticed on that about the ships, because it's obviously a smooth hull, and there was some, and I was wanted to see if I could. I can't replicate canning particularly, but there was some different lower plating structures in that I wanted to replicate, and then got scared that I was going to ruin it, and so it's not actually even been. I've got no farther than that yet. But she'll get built because I've got all the stuff for her, and when I've outlaid that amount of stuff, it's not got any one of these Pontos kits or anything. It's just, you know, a fret of photo etch, but it will bring her up a lot more, and I probably will splash out at some stage for a wooden deck, probably. So I've got her, but I've also got 2 modern ships. Well, modern for the 1970s and 80s. And these are a Type 42 destroyer HMS Sheffield, which was sunk by the Argentinians in the Falklands War. May her crew rest in peace. She can be made as her sister ship Coventry as well. It's also sunk in Falklands War. May her crew rest in peace. Or, yes, we built two Type 42s for the Argentinians. They weren't sunk. And you can build them as those as well. So I've got her in 1 in 700, and I also picked up. I got that new from Jadlam, I believe, because they're made by Pit Road originally, I believe, but Dragon has obviously had them for a while, and they've re-released them, or re-released her anyway. So I had to get that for the stash, and I said if I could find one cheap enough, I would get a second one to put in the stash as well, because they had a lot of sister ships. Different batches were stretched later on and that, so you can only do a certain amount unless you're going to carve the ship up, which I don't really want to do. And also HMS Antelope, which is the Type 21 frigate, which, well, her crew rest in peace, we lost her as well. And Antelope can be made any one of her sister ships. You just have to put Exocet launchers on and things like that. So I will get round to them at some stage, but they are purely for the stashes. When I want to build them, they're there, because I've got it has a small amount, I think railings and that come with it, but I suppose if you want to really beef them up, you know, you want to get extra photo etch, then that's something else to think about. I'm supposed to show you quickly what this isn't even a review. This was just a shout out in case anybody wants to get them, because I know where you can get them at a good price. Why didn't I just say that at the beginning? I have no idea, but it's one of Gav's videos, isn't it? Anyway, a big thing for me isn't just building if it's a ship. If it's a ship, an aircraft, a tank, it doesn't matter what. Gav will go scuttling off and trying to find research material. Sometimes I just have to get them from online photos and things, but a lot of time I will occasionally buy a new book or a new book from suppliers that sell them off cheap, or I'll get a second-hand one. I've got no problems buying second-hand. If I can pick a book up for £3 or £4, I've got one with some Normandy maps coming. Project, see on another video. So that was about £2.50. I mean, how they're making any profit on that, I have no idea. Anyway, we're digressing again. There's a set of books out. I'm just seeing if they've got a generic title. The publisher is Kagero. They are the Super Drawrings in 3D. And I've managed to secure, the company I'm talking about is, 1 minute again, I'm glad this has got rollers on. I've been buying books from the Naval and Military Press for 25 years or 30 years, I'm not sure. So that's the Naval and Military Press. They give you like a paper when you buy the books. Funny enough, they haven't sent me a paper in about 2 years. Don't know what's going on there. But they sell relatively cheap books. There's the email address. There you go, down there. Let your fingers do the walking. And if I was after something else. I was completely after something else, and I always have a dip in and say, oh, I'll have a look, see what they've got. And these two 3D books come up, both Japanese warships. One is a battleship, Nagato, and the other one is the Chikuma, which I have seen a lot of 1 in 700s of the Chikuma around. That's the one with the turrets in the front. So, I'm not sure, something on the back here that actually says, and sometimes they'll say a price. Let me just quickly, I haven't got my readers on, so this is totally worthless. No, hasn't got a price on, but I do believe they're going around for £30+. Well, if you go on Naval and Military Press, a £5. So if you're into your ship modelling, or you just happen to have an interest in ships, Naval and Military Press, a £5 a piece. It's the only two they've got, as far as I've seen, because I would have, you know, sold a kidney and bought more. Now, I haven't got a Chikuma, I haven't got a Nagato. But it looks like when Gav finally gets around to building something, you know, whether it's a 1 in 700 scale larger ship or 1 in 350, I'm set up. So, we'll go down to the bench quickly. I've got the tripod behind me. I'm not going to do a load of photographs because otherwise you won't buy the book. And this isn't. I don't think that's fair on the publisher or the guys that write them. But I just wanted to give you a flavour of the type of thing you're getting. So let's go down to the bench. Let's stop waffling. Well, at least until we get to the bench, then we'll waffle a bit more. Right, guys. If you don't know what the Nagato looks like, now you do. This is the whole idea with these 3D. They don't give you a pair of 3D specs as far as I know in them. It's all about bringing line drawings to life. Now, included in the book, let me just see if we can, there we go, are line drawings. I'm not going to open them all out, as I say. I don't want to infringe too much on copyright. Before I start, let me just show you the number, should you want to track them down yourself. There you go. And that's the name, I presume, of the publisher. And that is the name of this particular book's author. So you'll get pictures exactly like this, but in more soup. You'll get the larger outline of the ship, but then they will literally go into minutiae detail. So we'll have this section here, and you'll get to see all the different stowage lockers. You'll see main armament, secondary armament. As I say, I don't want to overdo this so much that that guys won't go out and get the book. So I'm trying to find something that isn't. Well, we'll just go with that. See, this is what you're getting. Everything blown up, so you can, as the modeler, see exactly what piece. Now they're not going to, like it says, view of the bow superstructure and the funnel. It's not going to, unfortunately, give you a key to what everything is. Unfortunately, you will have to work that out yourself. But it gives you everything that you would need to know if you need to scratch build and add something or find the placement of something. It's all there. Again, let me show the back there because obviously it's on the outside cover. So we've got multiple anti-aircraft guns there by the look of it. We've got our spotting planes. The planes are there mainly to spot fall a shot. Yes, they can find aircraft, but the Japanese, as we all know, had a very good air arm for their navy, and these guys tend to be for spotting fall a shot. But that's the type of thing you get, yeah, and obviously it has a couple of pages of build, how, you know, when she was built, you know, all the usual stuff, you know, what the fate of the ship was. But you get all the rigging as well, you know, all the for the different antenna, should you want to follow it, because let's face it, a lot of the time models won't give you the instructions, won't give you the rigging details, and you have to go and find them yourself. But as I say, these are quite expensive books. They're well worth it. Now I've got two in my hands, absolutely worth the main price. But you know, these are hard times and we're all pushed, and if you can pick one of these lovely books up instead of for £30 odd, for £5, plus I think mine was about £5 postage in the UK, but even for the guys and gals across the pond, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in Canada, the pound, as we all know at the moment, is non-existent. So you could probably buy two of these books and still get yourself a mug of tea and a sausage roll. So yeah, so that's Nagato. The same with the Chikuma. I'll do the, again, I'm only showing you the one. As I say, I'm not a big fan of over-showing books because I believe people should go out and buy them. Again, this is a different author, so I'm not even going to go there with the name, but there's a gentleman's name. Again, a publisher, and again, the IBSN number. Again, I mean, you look at the detail on that. In fact, I think we'll just get, you've seen what the detail on the Nagato, so you know what you'd be getting if you got this. I mean, look at that, that's fantastic. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. It really gives you everything that you'd need. Yes, in 1 in 700 scale, replicating all the tiny stuff is it would be hard, but you know, 1 350 scale, and obviously the guys that can afford and have got the space for the big girls in 1 in, was it 1 in 200 or whatever. A lot of the Japanese ships have this lino, I believe, type. If not lino, it's a special texture they painted on the deck rather than wood. It's like a brownie, it's like a brassy brownie colour, if I remember some Japanese modelers doing it on their 1 in 700s. I've always wanted to do the Chikuma, just because I think it's one of those interesting ships. As I say, with all the turrets at the front, all 4 at the front. But yeah, brilliant. So guys, I can't really say anything else. I don't want to give you a note. You get, as I say, both books. You get a line drawings as well, a ship's plan as well to work to. I just think for the price, they're too expensive for me to buy. I wouldn't be say they're too expensive and then I go and buy a load of other stuff. Should see my eBay buys for this week. They're not. They wouldn't be if you're spending like 18 these days. A 1 in 350 scale Chikuma, if there is one. What are we talking about? 60, 70, 80 quid. Battleships 80 to 100 plus. Aircraft carriers again 130 quid. This is 1 350. You know, I suppose if you're going to pay that much money, if you're really going to want to go the way of recreating it in miniature as best as you can, then paying whatever these books cost. I've got to be careful because I honestly don't know. I think they're in the 30s, about £30. So to get a couple at a £5, I think it's well worth it. And as I say, if you're across the pond, even with the shipping, that might work out worth your while. So thanks a lot for stopping by and taking a look. I know that's only about of interest to about 3 people, but those 3 people are now forewarned and forearmed. And get out their wallets, get their moths out, and chuck a few quid to the Naval and Military Press. Again, I've got no connection with the publishers. I've got no connection to Naval and Military Press other than I buy their books. They've made a fortune out of me over the last 30 years. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. There will be another video coming up tomorrow on yet another little project that I've dusted off. Again, start of an eBay buy, and I've ended up dusting some other bits and pieces off. But we shall go, I'll make the video now and we'll actually follow up on that tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Thanks for stopping by. You never know, there might be a Chikuma or a Nagato at some stage built on the channel, along with everything else.